So our journey started back in 2019 when the foundation board looked to review the objects within its trust deed, and the result of that was essentially we were looking at how can we address the growing inequities that existed for disabled people and whānau. One of the key things in order to be able to deliver on that strategy was going to be a philanthropic arm or approach to meeting those priorities. The organisation had previously endeavoured on doing some fundraising and we didn't do it well. So what we wanted to have in place was a robust and sustainable strategy. I looked around the market and Giving Architects kept on coming up as an organisation that it would be worth contacting. And that's when I made my first contact with Giving Architects, I think late 2019, early 2020. So I made contact with Giving Architects, and I guess what struck me straight away was just they were very down to earth, really. They were there to listen, to understand what our need was, and then were able to talk to us about what they could offer. It felt good for me. We spoke about wanting a partnership approach that was very important for Spectrum Foundation, and I just felt that Giving Architects had the right values, feel and characteristics that we were looking for.
Through having Giving Architects as trusted advisors, we were able to create or build together a solid foundation on which to launch our philanthropy team in an organisation that's entirely new to fundraising from philanthropic donors. Working with board members was a real key skill that Giving Architects brought. Working with board members and senior members of staff to illustrate and explain broad concepts of fundraising, and so taking them on a fundraising journey, if you like, and how it could potentially fit within the broader context of our organisation. They provided specific advice on policy creation, what to include and what not to include, and really drove home the importance of donor centricity and everything that, and making sure that was considered in everything that we are doing.
So our work started by engaging the leadership of the organisation. We spent time with the board, the CEO and the senior leadership team because we really needed to understand what would the role of philanthropy be in the future of this organisation. We also needed to spend time with this leadership group so that they understood what does effective fundraising look like, what does donor-centric communication and engagement look like, and what would be the capacity and capability that would need to exist at Spectrum Foundation for that to work really well.
When I joined the organisation, I still am the sole fundraiser, and it was incredibly helpful to have two other people, whilst not part of my team. They acted like that, and there were sounding boards throughout the whole process as I started to set the fundraising team up, or my philanthropy team up.
The real privilege for the team at Giving Architects in this project was that we were coming in a really important moment in history for the Spectrum Foundation. And because it was so significant and there were a series of steps that needed to be made, ours being one of them, the timing ebbed and flowed a little bit. But we were able to do the right pieces of work at the right time and see them slowly piece together as we work through the situation. And then also being able to work with the client on recruiting the first ever director of Philanthropy and Impact, which was a great joy, and Fenella's doing a brilliant job. Another unique challenge in the work with Spectrum Foundation was getting a good understanding about a natural constituency when it came to effective fundraising. Look, it's a crowded marketplace and there is plenty of demand for donor dollars, so we wanted to really help the client understand where does effective giving come from, who could they have an effective conversation with, and how great giving could have good impact. That was really important. So spending time with them and understanding that process, how the money could be best applied to really foster and support effective fundraising was critical.
I found Giving Architects really great to work with. They have been supportive the whole way through. They're very knowledgeable and willing to help wherever they can. They also have a really broad network, so they have connected me up with various different people from a fundraising and also a funding perspective, and really straightforward in their communication with me and as external consultants as well. So we always knew where we stood and what to expect.
We had individuals within Giving Architects that were open to working with us and at our pace. And believe me, I'm sure there were times where they were frustrated because it was stop-start again, as happens when you're working through this with boards, but they stuck with us and they just felt like a partner, really. And through that partnership, we've been able to achieve things which we wouldn't have been able to by doing this through our own means.
So Giving Architects really became part of the team during the year that we worked with them. We had weekly catch-ups. They were open to attending meetings with our board and with our team whenever they were requested, and they actively contributed to those meetings and also helped prepare for them. When our projects changed significantly during that year, which it often does, I'm sure, they're really flexible in changing our approach and continuing to advise on best practice fundraising whenever they could. And they still are trusted advisors and coaches to the team, even now.
Giving Architects really enjoys working with organisations like the Spectrum Foundation. We love to get a really deep understanding of the great work they are doing and the transformational impact they are making inside the community. We love to lift the lid and find out what they are doing and how we can help them continue to deliver great impact to their community.
In summary, this is an engagement that really worked for us. It wasn't transactional, it was transformational, and we're well on the journey now to being able to make a difference in that inequity space for disabled people and whānau. And that's as a result of the work of Giving Architects in developing a blueprint for us in understanding how to get there. By no means are we there yet, and that's the beauty of Giving Architects, because they're there for you. They're willing to come in, work at your pace, and be available when you need them.